Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. A drive-by shooting in Elmira today left one person injured. Our Sonia Ellison has the latest on this ongoing investigation.
Elmira police responded to reports of gunshots this morning. A portion of West Water Street was closed for a short time.
It's here. I drove by. There were 7 police cars.
Police say one is injured and a suspect is on the loose after a drive-by shooting this morning at 209 West Water Street.
The victim was taken to a local hospital and said to be in stable condition. Elmira police report several witnesses told them the suspect was riding by on a mini scooter when he shot the victim 8 or 9 times. Investigators believe the shooting was a targeted act on the individual and not an attack on the nearby Tat Vibe tattoo shop. Though the shop owners did not want to comment on camera, they did say the victim was not connected to the shop and they just called 911 and helped before first responders arrived. A portion of West Water Street was closed until 11:45 a.m.
But I saw all those. I thought I was back in Brooklyn.
Though police have released only a limited amount of information, they did say the victim and witnesses provided them with information about the shooter. Police also report they were able to obtain several pieces of evidence, including video of the incident. Investigators urge anyone who has information about this shooting to contact the Elmira Police Department at 607-737-5626. Anyone wishing to come forward anonymously can do so through Operation Halt at cityofelmira.net. Sonia Ellison, Big Fox News, Elmira.
Pennsylvania's deer hunting season began Saturday and continues every day until December 9th, except for Sunday, December 3rd. Hunters can harvest one antlered deer with a valid general hunting license, costing residents $20.97. The National Deer Association says in 2021, Pennsylvania topped the country in hunter density, with 14.4 hunters per square mile estimated during the season. Second to New York with an average of 12 hunters per square mile. Steuben County Sheriff's Department's annual Shop with a Cop event will be December 9th at both Irwin and Hornell Walmarts. Sheriff Jim Allard says the Sheriff's Department is teaming up with the area law enforcement agencies in the Hornell region. The program pairs students who would benefit from the program with deputies and officers to shop for their family and themselves. Now to the latest on the hostage situation in the Middle East. On the 4th day of a temporary ceasefire, Hamas released another group of Israeli hostages. It comes as the two sides agree to extend their truce. Alex Hogan has more.
Israel and Hamas agreeing to a 2-day ceasefire extension on Monday, hours before a 4-day truce was scheduled to end. Qatari officials say the new deal will allow for additional humanitarian aid to enter the Gaza Strip and includes the release of more Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners, though the Biden administration suggests some of the remaining hostages may be in the hands of other terror groups.
Potentially the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, for instance, another radical extremist terrorist group there operating out of Gaza, could be holding some. But it's going to be up to Hamas now to track all them down.
On Monday, Israel and Hamas agreed to the release of a 4th group of hostages. At first, both sides reportedly disagreed over the list over concerns that too many moms would be separated from their children. Families of those released last week now describing the agonizing wait during negotiations.
There are hiccups and there's pauses, which causes all of us to another pain and reminder that this is a difficult road ahead of us.
As more hostages return home, we're learning about their days in Hamas custody. Merav Raviv says her 3 relatives, including her 9-year-old cousin, ate irregular meals and slept on makeshift beds of chairs.
A kid being all the time in the same place with his mom and his grandma and no kids around, no telephone, no video games, no toys.
Israeli officials say they will continue their campaign against Hamas once the ceasefire ends. In Jerusalem, Israel, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Attorney General Merrick Garland says the Justice Department is on the lookout for any potential threats of hate-fueled violence and terrorism across the U.S. Garland making the remarks Monday while meeting with officials from the Southern District of New York, saying the DOJ is ready to help where it's needed.
As always, but especially now, Justice Department is remaining vigilant in the face of the potential threats of hate-fueled violence and terrorism. We are closely monitoring the impact that the conflict in the Middle East may have in inspiring foreign terrorist organizations, homegrown violent extremists, and domestic violent extremists, both here in the United States and abroad.
Garland's remarks come as police say a suspect has been arrested in the shooting of 3 young men of Palestinian descent in Vermont. The FBI posted on X that the Bureau is actively investigating the shooting, along with other federal, state, and local agencies. Dozens of congressional seats are up for grabs in 2024, and that could mean big changes for Capitol Hill. Alexandria Hoff has details.
Just as Speaker Mike Johnson is trying to get his House in order, House Republicans are already scrambling to keep their narrow majority in 2024. Dozens of members of Congress have already announced that they're saying goodbye to Capitol Hill, setting the stage for what could be a major shakeup.
Yeah, I have nothing to say.
Democrats in New York are eyeing Republican George Santos's seat. The embattled congressman has said he won't seek re-election. That is, if he is not forced out for a slew of scandals first. Democratic gains in Virginia's latest state elections could be a sign of a blue takeover, with voters energized over abortion policy after the Dobbs decision.
Republicans really struggled on the abortion issue. You can have a good, solid policy position, but you also have to be able to have the right tone, the right nuance.
And Joe Manchin's closely watched West Virginia seat won't be the only battleground in the Senate. Ohio Democrat Sherrod Brown is gearing up for a fight in his swing state.
That's probably going to be a $300 million Senate race because the Democrats know they've got to keep Ohio or they lose the United States Senate.
Even with RNC fundraising lagging far behind the DNC, former Speaker Kevin McCarthy is optimistic.
I believe if Joe Biden stays on the ticket, it could be the very best night for Republicans.
Redistricting is also expected to be a key factor in 2024, with North Carolina getting a new congressional map. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter is being remembered today as the journey to her final resting place begins. The Carter family motorcade left her hometown of Plains, Georgia for Atlanta this morning, stopping first at Phoebe Sumter Medical Center in Americus, where family members watched as Mrs. Carter's casket was transferred to a hearse. Past and present members of her U.S. Secret Service detail served as pallbearers. Rosalynn Carter's body was then brought to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library in Atlanta, where she will lie in repose for members of the public to pay their respects. Your complete workweek forecast is next. Plus, getting gifts for all your loved ones this holiday shopping season can be dangerous. How to protect yourself and others while shopping. That story's next.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening and happy Monday. We are rolling into this week with some roller coaster conditions. Now, we're starting off the week with the cooler air mass. So the good news is that this is the coldest point that we are going to be within. But with it is some of that cold air moving over those warm lake regions, and that's creating this lake effect concern that's even going to bring some light snowfall locally. Now, as we will work out of that as we head into our Wednesday, we are going to talk about some quiet and warming conditions into our final days of November, as we are going to watch a warm front lift north, but that's going to usher in a low pressure system that will bring us some rainy weather to start off December, and we're going to keep our first weekend and nearly week into December with some more mild to seasonable conditions. So first, when it comes down to the snow event that's in place, we are noting that areas, again, just outside of those lake features are underneath those lake effect warnings, as well as those winter weather advisories in that purple. What we're seeing is that local area not falling underneath any of those widespread alerts, but we are noting that snow showers are going to be able to at least extend over the area, bringing some light flurries, some light dustings from time to time. Small banding features there could set up for the potential of some small times of some reduced visibility, and at least being able to coat some of those roadways, cars, as well as some of those cold grassy spots. So do know that that's in place, but we can even see into Wednesday more of that wind starts to come from the south, and that's going to push in some some drier air from the south, but also some of that warming weather as well. So with those snow showers, again, note that it does stay light to a dusting, though still within some of those banding features. Reduced visibility can create some travel concerns there. So always keep yourself a very high alert of these type of events, especially if you are traveling closer to those lake features to the north as well as to the west and east. Now, when it comes down to temperature wise, it is going to stay definitely cooler, only a high of 33 degrees, keeping our main precipitation type snowfall. So that's good news. And the good news as well is that we are going to see some warming. Now, we are going to continue to keep that wind though. So even with a high of 33, note that with winds staying upwards of 25 to 35 miles per hour through much of the day, your feel like temperature is going to stay within the teens and 20s. So layers are necessary as everyone's going to see these gusty winds as temperatures stay, really the highest wind gusts stay close to the highest temperatures. So that is something to put in place for tomorrow, that there is going to be those hidden concerns of chilly temperatures with the wind and those areas of some snow showers. Now, Wednesday is going to be much quieter. Again, we'll start to pull in that southerly wind, pushing that lake effect out. We'll start off the day into those lower 20s due to the chillier Tuesday, but then by the end of the day, Wednesday, we're back up into those mid to upper 30s, and then by Thursday, upper 40s. So back to seasonable conditions, maybe some mixed sunshine in there, but then that low pressure system emerges with some rain showers likely Friday, but keeping our temperatures into those 40s.